What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman podcast, where I have go-win conversations with fabulous people so they can get their story out there in the world. Now, I believe three things happen when people share their story. We learn about them and we learn from them. Also, we are inspired. And then the third thing is we connect. And when we connect, I feel like community happens. And I love to say community wins. And it's not very often that I get to sit down with people who have been a part of my life for a very long time, growing up in the same town. And then just sometimes they have influence that is legendary. And talking about Carmen's father, who was a legend here in Guthrie, America. Carmen, how you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm so glad that you made the journey. You grew up in Guthrie, from Guthrie, but now live in Edmond, which is not that far away. I could throw a rock and hit Edmond. Actually, Edmond and Guthrie are about to be in such what is the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry if you can see my hands if you're watching on video. But they're about to mesh. Like they're gonna be one. Like you're not gonna be able to tell when you're in Guthrie or when you're in Edmond, I feel like sooner than later, just because Edmond's growing and Guthrie is growing. But that's cool. It's cool with me.
It is. I love it.
Now, when did you move to Edmond?
Well, let's see. I graduated Guthrie in 1993.
Yes.
So a bit younger than you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you graduated a year after me. I said you graduated.
Are you 92?
I'm 92.
I thought you were 91.
No. 92. Why did I think? I feel like because we were talking like,
that's right.
Yes, you're 93. You graduated with Kenny.
Yes.
My goodness.
We were on the same tennis team.
Yes, Kenny's my brother-in-law, for those of you who are listening.
Love Kenny.
Yes. Kenny just had a baby.
Oh, I know.
Isn't that amazing?
Fresh, little Disney.
Kenny and I are the same age. There's no way in the world. I say no way in the world, but if I had one, I'd be just like him. But oh my goodness, I cannot see having a child right now.
Right. Think about that.
I know.
I mean, our girls are going to be, let's see, tomorrow, 17 and 14.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I have, all of my kids are about to go up one. So my daughter this month will be 14. My oldest son will be 22. And then Zell, my tennis player, will be 16. It's just nuts.
It goes by so fast.
It goes by so fast. And I'm like, they still have so much to learn. I forgot to teach them this. I forgot to teach them that, But anyway, it's part of life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, Lord, you do the rest.
Yes. So talking about graduating in 93, go ahead and tell me about Carmen 0 to 18.
Wow. Carmen 0 to 18. Okay. So Carmen was a preacher's daughter. And with that came a lot, right? A lot of pressure, So my dad was Dennis Clark, and he pastored First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, right off of Noble. You know, that big church there. And it was such a wonderful family. I loved church. I loved youth group. I loved all that. At times, it did feel like we lived in a fishbowl. Yeah. So I was aware that everybody else was aware of where I was and what I was doing. So therefore, I really tried to walk the straight and narrow at all times because I didn't want to be, I didn't ever want to disappoint my parents. I was kind of one of those kids. It was a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. So those are easier to parent, I think, when they're young like that. Yeah. But with that, later on in life, that poses a problem if you're a people pleaser all the time. Yeah. And so I've had to learn to not be so much like that. But 0 to 18, Carmen was happy and it was fun. And I loved my time in Guthrie. I couldn't have asked for a better.
Do you feel like you were the same kid from elementary, middle school, and high school? And if not, were there any transitional things that happened in your life? Like, was there something that you got a hold in middle school and you're like, oh my goodness, this kind of helped you learn who you were? Or did you have any of those kind of pivotal moments that you can think of? And it's so okay if you didn't. Yeah. You were just the perfect child, just all the way.
Oh,
yes.
No.
Yeah, just from 0 to 18, it was just all perfect for you.
No. That's not what I'm saying, but it was really great.
Yeah, no,
it
yeah.
was. I loved Guthrie, and I had a really great family unit. That's huge. My mom and dad,
huge. Yes.
Amazing.
A solid family makes a big difference, right?
It does. My brother was 2 years younger, Darren. Mm-hmm. Remember him? And it was great. I was a cheerleader. I was also in musicals, so I was leads in like Grease, Oklahoma.
Really? Now, where did y'all do those? Was that a favorite?
High school. Where did we do those?
And now they
No,
do
the junior high.
The junior, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
yes,
They're on
yeah,
that stage. So now what? Do they have a PAC or something?
They do the music like drama and all that stuff at Favor. They do it on the stage, and I think they had built that stage out to be a little bit more equipped for those type of events than what the junior high had. But yeah, so they do them. They do them there.
Yeah.
That's cool. So high school, getting ready to graduate. What was that like for you? Like, what did you do transitioning out of high school?
So that was a little bit harder for me because my parents, right whenever I graduated, my parents moved to Denver, and my dad and mom, they were going to pastor a church in Cherry Creek, Colorado, like so in Denver, in that area, and my brother too. And so I remember it just like yesterday when we were all hugging in the church parking lot, and I was going in my car basically to college, and they were driving to Denver to move.
In at First Christian
Right.
parking lot? Really?
Yes.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh, I remember hugging my brother, and we were all crying just because that was a pivotal moment
Yeah.
for me. Because that was a big, when you're just so used to your family unit, all of a sudden my family unit was moving to Denver, and I was staying here.
Yeah, that could be that's a really big deal.
It was
Because
a real
now
big
you
deal.
don't have this family that's been very stable for you. That's allowed for you to go through from 0 to 18 in a very good space.
Right.
Not a perfect space, but a good space, right?
Right.
And now they're leaving.
Right.
And you're going to college.
Right.
What was that like?
Whoa. I mean, that was rough. It was hard. I was excited because, again, my major was music theater. My minor was dance. So I stayed busy, and I had tons of fun friends and everything. And it was fun that my parents lived in Denver over spring
for
break
sure, yeah.
because we could go to the mountains, go skiing.
Yeah.
And so everybody wanted to come home with me, on spring break.
So now that was the new home. So when you
right.
when you said I'm going home, you were saying I'm going to Denver. You weren't saying I'm coming
Right.
to Guthrie.
Right.
Right. So
And
did y'all ski before then?
No, learned then.
Oh, wow. So that was a big deal then.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal because Denver never really seemed like my home like Guthrie did, And so then fast forward, my dad moved back to Guthrie. He was there for 8 years. And then mom and dad moved back to Guthrie, and he pastored the same church until he retired.
What? How does that work?
The Lord? I mean, because I was like, wow, Dad, are you sure? There's got to be a more fun place. But I'm so glad they did because right then I met this wonderful man in 97 who was 5 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
You're older than Bernie.
Yeah.
How much older? 5?
3. Yeah, I think 3.
She graduated in 95.
95. And I graduated in 92. Yeah, 3.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. So that's nice. The little age difference there, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway.
Where did y'all meet?
We met at his mom's funeral.
Well, you have a thing with funerals.
I really kind of do.
Yeah.
But I wasn't singing at that funeral. I was going to that funeral because I knew his mom. He was adopted, so his parents were older, and I knew his niece, and that was her grandma. So I was going to the funeral, and that's where I saw him. And then I think it was just like a week later he called me, and we went on our first date. And then 2 years later, got engaged. And so,
2 weeks later?
2 years. 2 years.
Oh, 2 years. Oh, I thought I was like,
That'd be
wow.
terrible.
Yeah. So 2 years later, you're getting engaged.
And got married 4 months later. Like we were quick engagement because I was like, he was older, and it was kind of.
Well, 2 years too. You knew each other and all that good stuff. Yeah. So you knew his mom, but you didn't know him?
No, I knew that one of my best friends, who was his niece, who grew up here, Sarah Good.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay,
Sarah
that's
Good.
his niece.
Okay.
Because he was adopted, so his parents were older. So those were her grandparents. You see what I mean?
Gotcha.
So he had nieces and nephews that were like the same age or older. And I remember thinking, that's so weird that she has an uncle that's not that much older. But I didn't know him, know? And he went to McGinnis.
Okay.
And we were, Guthrie, so we
we
didn't mix with McGinnis.
Yeah.
Right.
So y'all meet, getting married, children, like how many children? What does that look like for you all?
So we were married for 4 years. And during that time, I did a lot of traveling and performing with Holland America Cruise Lines as guest artist and other theaters and fun stuff. So it was awesome because
you were really into the singing thing.
Oh yeah, it was my major. Like I was going to New York, and then he came into the picture, and I didn't have peace about going to New York anymore. I was just like, I think this is who God has for me.
So you just gave up New York, stayed here
and God
Oklahoma,
bless that, because then I got some really great jobs. So I do feel like,
So tell me the kind of work you were getting.
Okay, so Holland America hired our touring company, and it was so awesome because we got guest status, so passenger status. So we'd be booked for these cruise ships, and we'd be gone 10 days or 12 days and perform maybe 4 times that whole time. I mean, saw amazing places. I had the best cast, amazing friends I made from all over. And now my husband didn't get to go, but he was so supportive of it.
Yeah.
And it was a great opportunity for me to get to do that and use those gifts and just those dreams that became realized.
Favorite place? Tell me your favorite place you went. Then how long did you do that for?
Bahamas, Acapulco. Oh gosh, they were amazing. They all were amazing, you know.
And you're getting to go for free doing work. That's the best way to go.
Right. And doing something you love.
Yeah.
Oh, it was incredible.
So you strictly sang? Did you dance?
Yeah,
and sing?
Singing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Full on singing, dancing, acting the whole time. It's an amazing show. It was a decade show. So it took everybody from the 20s all the way through like the 70s, 80s. So amazing music. Oh, I loved it.
I did not know this. Yes. That is super cool.
I did it for a long time.
How long did you do it?
I was 39 on my last tour.
So that was yesterday.
I mean, right? Because I'm 45 now, okay?
Oh, my goodness. So this tourism place, was it based out of Oklahoma?
No, it was based. So there was one based out of Branson, and then the other one was based out of New York. And we loved it. I mean, just incredible experience. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better job and husband that was supportive of it. You know?
For sure. Because that traveling and stuff like that. Because did you have children at the time?
No. So I didn't have kids. And we were married for 4 years before the first baby.
Okay.
And I was actually pregnant, didn't know it, on one of my tours. And we rode all these roller coasters on this because it was like down the East Coast, and we were at Hershey Park or whatever. And it was so fun. And we were riding all these roller coasters. And I'm like, I just don't feel that great. I'm so tired. It's so weird. Got home, baby number 1. So I was 28 when I had the first baby, little girl, and then 30 with the second one. And so then I was just home for a while, you know, and loved being a mom and everything. And then some more opportunities came to tour. And so we would do it when it would be little short things like a 10-day cruise here or a 10-day tour or a 12-day tour, you know. And I, again, just really blessed to get to do all that.
Yeah. So when you were in school, because I'm thinking about, let's say that there's some individual young person out there who really loves to sing and dance, but becoming the next Beyonce or, you know, whoever may not be their thing, but they could do something like this.
Totally.
Like what would be the thing that you would encourage them to do to continue to pursue this kind of opportunity if they really love the art of singing and dancing?
I think, so if they're music theater driven, right? Like I took a lot of master classes at OCU, Oklahoma City University. Yeah. Obviously, that's an incredible school for the music theater arts programs. So that's amazing. But there are all kinds of calls, like all kinds of auditions they could go do. And I just, of course, with COVID, it's kind of weird. And I'm not sure how it's going now.
Well, they're doing it via Zoom. My daughter has been wanting to try out acting or whatever. And she'd be like, I got an audition on Zoom. I'm like, wait a second. Zoom, who's going to be like, who are these people wanting you to call in on Zoom? But that's where, and then I asked a friend who also does, and that's where they do it. It's through Zoom now. I guess they tell you what they want you to do. You jump on Zoom and you act it out. Mm-hmm. Who would ever thought?
Well, one of my friends who was my roommate in college, we performed together and we're going to do the same show in New York. And she actually teaches voice on Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Because she's in Connecticut, but I mean, you know, they're kind of still probably locked down. So they're doing a lot of Zoom voice lessons, and that's going great. So
gotcha.
Probably Zoom auditions.
Now, your singing, your love for singing has now transitioned kind of sort of into you being able to serve people in a very unique way. I know there was a couple of times that you and I tried to connect, but you ended up having to do a funeral, meaning that you're getting invited out and to be a part of these people's celebration of going home, whatever that may look like. But sometimes those can be very challenging things. What has that been like for you? What is the joy in doing something like that?
So It kind of sounds like to some people morbid because you think, oh, it's so sad. How do you do that? How are you able to sing for that? And for me, it's a way that I can minister and use my gift, but also it does make me feel close to my dad because he was such a people's pastor and a community pastor. And he was there for people, whether they were dying or sick or being born and one of his favorite things, I think, was doing funerals because it was almost like you're, for the most part, helping usher them into heaven, and just the last time that family has some peace. You want to somehow be a part of that comfort because you want people to be just at rest, and no matter what their life was. But for me, it's become a blessing because I'm getting to hear about all these amazing people and their lives, it's impacting others, but I'm blessed every time I say yes to do a service because it's different lives. And, my whole deal is I want a life well lived, right? I strive for that and want that. And I want that for everyone. But it's neat to hear these stories. Like just 2 days ago, I sang at a funeral and it was basically, they talked about her story and it was a mom that struggled with bipolar disorder. And she made a way to provide for her kids and did whatever, and in that story, there was a grateful son who loved her as she was and had enough grace to just kind of put her issues aside and just be like, you know what, though? It didn't look maybe like your life or your life, but for me, I loved my mom and that's how it was, and I've sung for some really heartbreaking ones that were suicides and car wrecks and, the list is endless of tragedies, but all in all, it's like God's greater than all of it. So finding the joy in the pain and loving others as they are is kind of what I get from that, and so any little thing, any little part of that I could be, I'm thankful for, so that's kind of where it's gone to that. And then worship at church. I'm at Crossings Community Church and just helping lead worship there.
Is that the one on Portland? Okay. Yeah. How long have you been there?
Oh gosh, since I was 21.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because it used to be Belle Isle and now.
So going back to the funerals, I love that because I know who you are. You're full of joy. You're very, an outgoing person. So I can really see you coming into that kind of situation to be able to really walk people through a very hard time. And maybe it's not even that you even have to talk to them, but just sometimes the sense of having someone in the room that has your kind of spirit, great vibes can be very, very comforting and brings an element of, even though it's a hard time, a little bit of joy or whatever.
Right.
How do people invite you to be a part of that? Because in my role as a location pastor or whatever, I get invites to come do people's funeral. Like, I don't have a clue who they are. But in the same way that you say that you go and do these things, I feel that sense of like, well, God must want me to do this. He wants me to come in and bring some comfort and talk about peace, and then also just share him with folks. How do you get invited to some of these things? And do you remember the first time somebody invited you? Like, what was that like?
Whoa, I don't remember the first time. It's been so long. But kind of the same way. Most of these, I don't know the people. Some of them are people I do know. Most of the time, it's the church or the funeral home calling or texting or emailing me and seeing if I'm available. And I enjoy really both of them. They're different, right? Sometimes if you're connected and know the person, there's more pain involved. And then sometimes if you don't know the person, you feel kind of a freedom that, I don't know, just to be open-minded about whatever it is they're asking you to do in the service, So it's different. But there's joy in it, even though.
For sure. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're able to serve people in that capacity. Now, one of the things that I don't think you mentioned, I know about high school, is you play tennis.
Yes, sir.
And so you really love tennis.
I really love tennis.
What did you love it? So, like, my son right now is a tennis player. He's a freshman. I think he thinks he's going to the next level.
I think he might be. Okay? Because he's got his mama's genes, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say he's going to the next level.
He thinks he's going to the next level. But sometimes you don't get to go to the next level. Well, and you did not, as far as tennis goes. Like, what has that been like for you?
Okay.
And what have you done to fulfill that
that's
love?
Good. So in high school, I was a cheerleader. I was involved in music theater, student council, all this stuff, and tennis. So we had Coach Chuck
Crooks.
Crooks Crooks, Coach Charles Crooks, and loved him. I mean, I loved him. And then we had Coach Cease, Jamie Cease, Coach Cease for a little bit. But it was wonderful. I mean, we had a great experience. I had a great experience high school tennis. But it didn't bring me a ton of joy, I wouldn't say then. It was fun. It was fine.
Yeah.
And then I went on and pursued other dreams that I had with music theater and performing and all that. And that was all amazing. So then fast forward, and I'm 39, and I just finished a tour, right? Doing another
your
music
last
theater.
one. Is this your last one?
Yeah, I hope so. Because that's a lot of energy and a lot of brain power that I don't think I have anymore. And so that was so great, and it was so fun. And I came back, and I just remember being just kind of exhausted from it and just thinking, I don't know if that brings me joy anymore, you know? Mm-hmm. And so some of my girlfriends that I had met were like, Carmen, we want you to be on are you ready? Our 40 and over team. It's so amazing. And
talking about tennis.
Yes. And I remember thinking, that sounds so old. But you just said 40 and over. Even though I'm 39, I'm thinking 40 and over sounds so old.
Yeah.
Well, so I turned 40, and I'm so excited to be on this team. And it was like out of Quail Creek in Oklahoma City, and it was a USTA league, and it was so fun. And the way that I got back into tennis was through cardio tennis at just this tennis club. So honestly, I love to promote those cardio tennis classes for anyone, because for me, it ignited this passion in tennis that I didn't know that I had.
Yeah.
You know, I played once in a while since high school, but didn't care that much. So fun, such amazing exercise, and fast pace, and it just brought you so much joy, or me. And so I started on this team, loved it. It was amazing. The camaraderie is amazing. Everybody's like connected in a way because you're on this team, and it's a lifelong sport. I mean, think about this. I was playing it at 16, 17, that age. And then all the way here I am, at 40 playing it and loving it.
Yeah.
And our mixed doubles team ended up going to nationals.
Oh, wow.
Well, I didn't know that's a big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I bet everybody, they're like, Carmen, this is a big deal. Like, not everybody gets to go to nationals. So you need to enjoy it, because not every team ever experiences this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? And so we went to nationals in Mobile, Alabama, and we were, I think, one match away from making the semifinals, our team. And it was amazing. Yeah. I'm like, what other sport can you go to nationals at 40? So it just brought all this, joy, loved it.
Yeah.
And so then my dad had died suddenly, and that was just really heartbreaking for our whole family, and a total shock, and that was just a really hard time. And so during that time, I had just prayed and just been like, Lord, will you please just give me something that I can do that puts a passion and a purpose together to make a difference, because that's really what I desired.
That's good.
And all of a sudden there was this job opportunity, an interview that a lot of my friends were really encouraging me to go to. And so I went. I mean, totally felt unqualified, I mean, totally.
Yeah.
And there were so many applicants, and I ended up getting an interview.
Now, what was the job?
It was for the Oklahoma Tennis Foundation Executive Director. Okay. And it was a part-time job, and it was supposed to be so great, and everybody was telling me, and of course I knew nothing about and what I walked into was this amazing interview with these Hall of Fame men and women that were basically wanting to reignite this foundation and give away money for scholarships for kids, for underserved kids, and to give out grants, and to really help like the adaptive tennis program so that kids in wheelchairs could play tennis. Kids who have, Down syndrome, or adults with Down syndrome could have an amazing activity to play and to learn about, and so it was incredible. It's been an incredible experience. So I started in September of 2017.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing it ever since. And now what? So September, we're coming on.
So is it really how they say it's a part-time job, but really you get into, you like, wait a second, I'm working like 40 plus hours. Or do you really feel like it's part-time?
There are times that it's really full-time.
Yeah.
But I have such an incredible board, and we have amazing committees and volunteers that help really push our mission forward, and it's just incredible. It's an incredible organization, mainly our goal is to raise funds and give it out to different organizations or programs that are really enhancing lives through tennis and education. And so one of our goals, which is so exciting, is to get it into all 77 counties of Oklahoma.
Oh.
Now, some of those counties might just be farmland, okay?
Yeah.
But they can come over to the other county and there might be a gymnasium that we can put, tennis courts on. So I just want it to be available for every kid. It's not a country club sport. It doesn't have to be.
No.
And it really can transform lives.
Yeah.
And help kids, just have a sense of pride.
And it's a lifelong sport. Like you can play it at 40. You can go to nationals at 40.
At 80.
At 80,
I've seen
60,
these 80-year-old men and women out there playing, and I'm like, that's amazing.
That's what I like about it. It's something that my son is learning right now that he can use for exercise for a very, very long time. Now, do you all support Tony Mulliken at was it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. First Serve, yes.
First Serve,
yes. We're one of their yes, we support them in a big way, and we love their mission too. Because our goal is we want to help all these different organizations and then give money to different communities that are making a difference within their community and outreach.
Yeah. That's
you
good.
know?
Yeah, and so Zell went and hit with some of the students, with Tony and some of the students over at City
First
Center.
Serve.
At City Center. That's where they
Oklahoma City Tennis Center, right?
Yes. And so that was good. He needs to go back.
Did he love it?
Yeah. Anytime he can hit,
and he was great at Edmond Center Court too.
Yes. So he went there, went back there recently. He hadn't been there in a while, so it was good. They were really excited to see how he's made some progress and improvements to his game. So
you're going to love our tagline. Do you know what it is?
No.
You know how yours is go in?
Yes.
Guess what ours is?
What is it?
We start with love.
Yeah.
How perfect is that?
That is so good.
So many meanings, right?
I love that.
Because the game of tennis, for those who don't know, start at 0 and you're scoring, and they call that love.
Yes.
But then you're ending.
That's so cool.
At 40, right?
That is really good. That's fun. So good. So go in is being consistent. Talking about go in. Go in is being consistent. Like when I define it, go in is being consistent and doing the right things that allow for you to achieve wins that you've defined for yourself so that you can live out your greatest story. And one of the things I love about being able to sit down with people is, if it's possible, for them to share a win that they may have for their life, and then maybe talk about one or two things like, hey, I'm trying to be consistent in this to achieve that. And so I was wondering if you can maybe talk about a life win that you have, like just something in general, and then maybe a work win that you have defined for yourself. And then in both, can you share a couple of things that you may be consistent in order to achieve it? Let me give you an example. And I sent this to you. I want to be 220 pounds by June 1st, which is my birthday. And I would be 47. Oh my goodness, I'm so close to 50. And so some of the right things that I'm trying to be consistent in is exercise, of course. So going to the gym every morning, eating right. And then also just learning from others on how to eat right. So my brother-in-law is a vegan at the moment. And so he's always cooking up these healthy meals. So I try to learn from him. I tried vegan for a week. It's too hard.
It's not for you.
No, it's not for me. So I'm trying to find other ways to keep a good, healthy diet. So anyway, those are some things that I try to be consistent in. Why? In order to achieve this win that I've defined for myself of being 220 pounds. So do you have anything like that you can share with us that we may can learn from you?
So that is a good question. So I would say one of mine, and it is crazy that you asked me about what was Carmen like 0 to 18 too, because this all kind of ties in, is so the people pleasing portion of my life and of my personality. That takes a toll on a lot of things in your life. You maybe say yes and overcommit, and it's too much, and other things go by the wayside that shouldn't. And probably that was a lot of my life, just overcommitting. I mean, maybe getting it done, but just running, just 90 to nothing, And there's nothing like loss that will cause you to just stop because your world stops, you know, where all of a sudden you're like, what's most important? And we know that just even with COVID-19 and what happened with the pandemic a year ago, right? So one thing for me is the right yeses. So when I'm going to say yes, for me, it sounds really simple, but it's hard for someone who wants to say yes all the time.
Yeah.
So with that, I want to say yes as much as possible, right? if I can, I want to say yes, right? To my kids, to singing for a funeral, to being able to give money to this organization or this person, or, but the bottom line is, just for my life, just for me personally, a couple things I ask myself on if this is a yes. Does it give me peace? Does it give me peace? Does it continue to promote what I am wanting to promote? Like, is it at all something in me that makes me, do I have any checks? Like, do I have any Holy Spirit checks or anything, right?
Yeah.
They're saying, no, don't do this. Or, do I have an open door here on saying yes to it, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of sounds serious, but some of the yeses can, lead to just more busyness. And I do believe that just in this last year, one thing we've learned is, just as a nation and as just a country, right, is to just settle down, like just to kind of stop and be still, because you have nothing else, and it causes you to look around at the people that you're around, your family, whoever it is, your life is, and whoever you're involved with. It's interesting. So for me, that yes matters if I'm going to say yes or no, but the questions are, does it bring peace?
I like that.
Does it continue to help me grow? And is it part of what my life is about?
Yeah.
Does it? So that would be for my life. That's just.
I like that. And so just make sure I'm understanding. So if somebody's listening, the win that you've defined for yourself is saying yes to the right things. And the thing that you're being consistent in order to make sure it's the right thing, is these set of questions that you ask yourself. Which is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yes. I like that.
And I'm still, it's still developing, like what the questions are going to be for me on this. But,
well, one of the things we talk about is discovery. So whenever I sit down with somebody and I help them with Go Win for their own lives, is we talk about the discovery. So you're always maybe discovering new right thing to be consistent in, because maybe if that one question does you like that's not the right question. You may have a list of other questions. So we do what we call brain thing, which is brainstorming the right things to be consistent. And so now you just have a list of all these things that you can go back to when this one thing's not working. And so the discovery. So you're still in discovery mode. I think we're always in discovery mode to find that right go in order for us to be able to go towards those wins. And also tell people a win is not something that you always cross the finish line, because that's what we always think. Like, me crossing the finish line first is the way that you win. A win could be something ongoing. My wife and I, we want to have a healthy marriage. That is a win that I've defined for myself. And so that's something that's ongoing. I'm never going to cross the finish line on that. That's an ongoing win. So just some of the ways that I think about. Go in.
Yeah. And I love that, because it is a lifelong journey, right?
Yeah,
and trying to get it right.
Yeah.
And we're not always going to get it right. We're going to fall short sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's why I love that self-discovery on these different,
Yeah.
The other thing you asked me was, just in my job and with the Oklahoma Tennis Foundation, what are some things that are maybe some go win or right goals and or decisions, right? Or what questions do I ask? So I heard this and I love it so much. So I heard someone once say, everyone who knows us loves us, but not everyone knows us.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So with Oklahoma Tennis Foundation, that is so, I shared that with our board at our last meeting, because I'm like, that really is us, because everyone who knows about Oklahoma Tennis Foundation and the good, wonderful things we're doing and the money we're able to give out or the support here or there, they love it and they're so excited. But just not enough people know about us, and that's coming. That'll be happening, throughout the state, because we want to be able to help statewide, not just in Oklahoma City Metro or Tulsa Metro or just surrounding all of it, right? Well, so the other thing is, one thing that we have started as our organization, every Wednesday, we start with love Wednesday highlight. Okay. So since our taglines, we start with love, we find either an organization to highlight, or maybe it's a video we're doing. And so we're interviewing different board members to say, what makes you love tennis so much? Like during the month of February, we did a Why We Love Tennis video series, right?
Yeah.
We did during the pandemic, nobody could do anything. So we were making people bounce tennis balls for 10 times, 10 times and say something funny, and so that went kind of viral and that was so fun. But our goal was, and the win there is, we're spreading positivity.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to be known for, is what is something amazing? What is
Yeah.
something so fun? What is something so positive that we can talk about?
That's good.
Because I just think we need more of that in the
Yeah.
world, you know? So that's definitely the one for the
That's
foundation.
that is really good. I so appreciate that, and you need to get Zell on there. He'll talk about why he loves tennis so much.
I know, I do.
You should do that.
I would love that, and I'll have him wear the hat.
Yes, have him wear the hat. Is like thinking about that too. Like one of the things that I noticed in Guthrie is like we have a tennis team, but we don't have a tennis community per se, to where like there's these kids who really love tennis and they're jumping in or learning about tennis to know that they love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be cool maybe to go around some of these different places that y'all are saying, hey, I want to bring tennis to these places.
Like with our clinics.
Yes.
Because see, we have started that. That's what I was going to tell you too. Our Hall of Fame clinics. We send out these amazing coaches to different communities to have a clinic, and all the kids are invited, you know, different ages, and sometimes they'll do the performance kids, so like the middle school team and the high school team, and then these two incredible coaches that used to be the women and men's tennis coach at OU, University of Oklahoma. They are Hall of Famers and they're retired, and they are so excited about this, that we're doing this. So we've sent them out. They went to Clinton and did a clinic. And where else have we been? We've been to Enid, you know, and in Tulsa. So we need to come to Guthrie and do a clinic. Everybody gets a free racket and balls, and we provide lunch and a snack, and it's so great. And
what age is that?
Well, we do two different types of clinics. Some for like beginners, and then we have one that's like for the middle school team and high school team, so a little more high performance or older. So we've got two that we can do, but all the same.
Wow. So how do we make that happen?
I know. Like soon. Who do we call?
I don't. Yeah.
Probably Mary. Right?
Mary Hudson. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Get a hold of her.
Yes. We got her number.
We do. You know, she got Coach of the Year. Did you know she got high school Coach of the Year?
No, I did not know that.
Yes, she was on our awards. Yes, video.
That is super cool. No, I did not know that. Way to go! I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to tell her I know about her being Coach of the Year. So that's good. Well, is there anything else like regarding the work that you do, or something that you want to put out there that you want everyone to know? Outside of definitely go connect with her foundation. How do people get involved with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can go to our website, which is www.oklahoma. It's actually oktennisfoundation.org. And you can see like how people donate, or how people can get involved in clinics or scholarships or giving out grants. All of that kind of stuff's on our website. And there's my email's on there too. So you can connect with me it's cbond@oktennis.org. How awesome is that I got the name Bond?
Is Bond.
Do you like that? That was so fun. So fun. So I would just say, you know, just as a lifelong lesson, I mean, do what you love. I mean, you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that even if it happened at, 42, 43, that I found something else I love. Like, I didn't know that there would be a new dream with tennis. Good. I mean, I loved music theater and I'm performing, and I'll always love that part of my life. But this has brought about new things, new people in my life, new influences, and just growth.
Yeah. That's good.
So it's exciting.
Good. So never think you're done. You know, I think that's a message that you definitely can share. Like, hey, I found this new thing at 43, when most people think, man, I'm 43, it's too late for me or whatever. But you found that new thing and are doing a great job at it. So thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you
for your willingness to sit down with me and share a little bit of your story.
Oh, we go way back.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman podcast. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what I'm going to say? Go win.
Yes.